We are so excited today to welcome the wonderful Anthony Anaxagorou, the British-born Cypriot writer, publisher and educator. Anthony's poetry has been published in The Poetry Review, Poetry London, New Statesman and Granta, among others. His work has also appeared on various news channels, including BBC Radio 4. Last year, his second collection, After the Formalities, was shortlisted for the TS Eliot Prize and was also a Guardian and Telegraph Poetry Book of the Year. He is an artistic director of Outspoken, a monthly poetry and music night held at London's South Bank Centre, and is the publisher of Outspoken Press. Welcome, Anthony.
Hi, how are you?
Good, it's lovely to have you here. And without going any further, we're going to let you get ahead with the reading.
Okay, so I'm going to read two poems from After the Formalities. The first one is called Things Already Lost, and it was kind of inspired by my son, who's now 5, but when I was writing this book, he was a little bit younger, so I think he might have been 3, and he was just starting to ask questions about kind of mortality. And, you know, he was saying things like, "Are you going to be my dad forever?" and stuff like this. And it's just like having to reckon with a 3-year-old and kind of let him down and say, you know, I won't be here forever, but I'll do my best to make sure that when I'm not here, you'll be all right. So this kind of poem is looking at, I guess, mortality from the wonderment that a lot of children possess. A dead cat could be a dead lung, except nobody wants to touch a dead rat without gloves. At the end of the funeral, my son asks, when will she climb out of the box? He learnt to say pigeon by asking what the flattened thing was in the driveway. Each morning for a week, he'd run to the window, waving at its disintegrating wings. Like this, he learnt the perils of grapes, to grip banisters and stand still for sunblock. In the park, he insists we race, and like any good father, I make my body age. He leaps, claiming victory. I feign a sadness, offering his rapture a little more time. He wants to keep a leaf for a pet. I want to warn him about getting attached to things already lost. In the bath, he needs to know where water ends when it disappears along with dirt. At the table, he folds a napkin into a frail boat, pushes it along an edge. We watch a snail work the earth. He asks if the trail is a thing it makes or it leaves. Ladybird blood is a firm yellow, containing only signal released when danger's close. He balances a blueberry on a spoon, reaching for my hand before crossing. When a motorcyclist is down, most of us will stand. One of us kneels. Nobody's sure where to touch. And the last poem that I'll read is, what should we do? Let's do Once I Had an Acceptance Speech. It's quite fun. I just enjoy reading this because it's just bouncy. This is about, or around, social expectations, pressures, and I guess status anxiety. Driving too close to the curb, admit to being poor, stash pumpkin seeds for my kid, hustle the Christian way, starch my shirt collars, value a strong smudge, give pigeons saintly names, cream both my feet, recycle, sign off emails with warm regards, double tap hashtag vegan, heart statuses which start with I'm delighted to announce, mornings I struggle to decide what mood to wear, evenings I lie beside my aftershaves imagining the sea. I should really have it by now, a Dyson Panasonic bread maker, a photo by the piano of a slum tour. I need the spirit of a full moon party rather than the charisma of a shed. They honk when I slow. I swear with my eyes, think of real blood. Sunday comes. Dad asks, what's the plan? I knit him the only winning scratch card. I leave a candle on for destiny once. I had an acceptance speech written. Soon a staircase will rise to defeat us all. The roads have moved. When I get in, I'll sit in the shower and say it's a bath. Double tap an ultrasound pick, sip railroad water. Notification, Zank 1 started following you. Check my speed, slap on another Barry Manilow playlist. Keep my greys in the dashboard. Wonder what the guy who put a gun to my little brother's head is doing for New Year's. Wonder if my neighbour made it through. Up ahead, a badger's hit beside a boulder, its glare, a wooden egg I slow for. I don't know. I mean, I read poems every day, but I read for like several reasons. I never read for like one reason. I think solace, yeah, in the sense it's a distraction. In, you know, like rather than sitting there and thinking about what the future is going to look like for us as a kind of as a population, but also as artists and writers and performers, what's that going to look like, rather than kind of ruminating on those anxieties. I felt that poetry kind of reignited the imagination in a lot of different ways, and I found myself gravitating towards writing that was more imagistic, that was more playful, that was more colourful, with a lot of movement, a lot of kind of nice sound. So I don't know, I think maybe that had a part to play in it, but you know, it's something, if you enjoy doing something, then, you know, keep it up. And I definitely enjoy reading poems every day. I think I'm personally, I mean, again, I can't talk on behalf of everyone, so offering advice is always hard, because advice is always rendered through your own kind of experiences and your own personality, your own lens. So it's difficult to kind of offer universal advice, but I think with me anyway, and with a lot of my friends who, you know, I really love what they do and how they do it, there is a restlessness within. There's a restlessness within the spirit, within the body, within the mind, and that restlessness is what drives you to keep wanting to make new work, because you're never really satisfied with anything. I think the artists that I know that are satisfied, they're slower. The kind of production rate is slower. And with me, I don't think I've ever been satisfied with anything in my life. And that's like a big, complicated issue that goes back to childhood. And so you kind of keep wanting to stay on top of things. But the problem is that there's pressure, and there's never any release. And so it's like, at what point do you make something? Do you put it out in the world? And do you sit back and think, you know, you kind of, I guess, enjoy the fruits of your labor, so to speak, you know, like you sit back and you think, oh, I did that if it, you know, that didn't exist a year ago and now it exists, and someone is free to take that work and think about it and engage with it and, you know, do whatever. So I had to tell myself that, but ultimately there is quite a profound dissatisfaction with things. Maybe it's, I take it too seriously, maybe I take myself too seriously, I don't know, but there's something in that. So what I would say to students, that was a very circuitous way of answering the question, but I would just say to remain open all the time, to keep the kind of receptors and the frequencies open to all different kinds of possibilities.